Okay. Is there anything about Halloween in the Bible?
Is there anything about Halloween in the Bible? No.
Okay.
There's nothing about Halloween in the Bible.
Okay.
Okay. But I do think there are some principles that we can pull out to discuss Halloween from the context of Scripture. And so
There we go.
There we go. This is where it all gets fun, right? All right. So 1 Corinthians chapter 8.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
I looked
this,
at my computer as if it was going to be on there, but it's not.
it's not like
Yeah.
the same Bible software I have on your computer. Yeah, no,
Not on this thing.
No. All right. Well, so in 1 Corinthians chapter 8, there is they're addressing food that's been sacrificed to idols. Okay.
Okay.
So Paul is addressing this because this question has been asked of Paul by the Corinthians. What do we do about food sacrificed to idols?
Okay.
Okay, like because they're leaving their pagan background, and food that was sacrificed to idols, like they're like so in their pagan context, they would have sacrifices that would happen at pagan temples. Okay,
Okay.
and they would
I feel like we've talked about this before.
I think we have, and they would eat of it, and then the leftovers would be placed in the market. Okay, for just anyone in the public to buy that meat. All right.
Cool.
So the question is, well, can we eat that meat?
Okay.
Like, is it okay to eat that meat or not eat that meat? Okay. So here's Paul's response in 1 Corinthians chapter 8, beginning in verse 4.
Even if it was pork.
They're Jews, right? So, well, excuse me, these would be Gentiles. So yeah, it would include everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me back that up for a second. So yeah. So here's what he says in verse 4.
Okay.
All right. About eating food sacrificed to idols, then, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, but that there is no God but one. For even if there are so-called gods, whether in heaven or on earth, as there are many gods and many lords, yet for us there is one God, the Father. All things are from him, and we exist for him. And there is one Lord, Jesus Christ. All things are through him, and we exist through him. In other words, we know that there's actually not other gods. There's actually not other idols, right? Like, or there are idols, but there's not like other gods there, right? So they're just so-called gods. They're not really gods. And what he's saying here is we realize that food sacrificed to idols doesn't mean anything. Like, we realize that, okay? Like, we know that it's just, there's the idol is nothing in the world. Like, don't worry about it. Verse 7, he says, however, not everyone has this knowledge, okay? Some have been so used to idolatry up until now that when they eat food sacrificed to an idol, their conscience, being weak, is defiled. And so what he's saying is that, so we know that the food that's been sacrificed to idols, like let's say it's been sacrificed to idols, but now it's being resold in the market. We know there's nothing to that. You can eat it, thank God for it, and it's fine. Is what Paul's saying. He says, however, not everyone has that knowledge. Some are going to, have just come to know Christ. Some are just beginning to follow the Lord.
Okay.
And if they see you out there eating this meat that's been sacrificed to idols, they're going to think it's okay to eat the meat sacrificed to idols, which is part of the worship act. So is it okay to still worship idols? Is it okay to like go with my family when they're worshiping the idols through sacrificing the food and eating of the food? Is it okay to go with my family to do that and still be a Christian?
Okay.
There's a lot of, so in other words, not everyone has a revelation, Paul is saying, of what's really going on here. Okay.
So I shouldn't ever eat food that I don't watch be prepared. Because I have no idea what they're doing back there.
Well, and what Paul is ultimately saying here is, listen, all food's been really ultimately created by God, and like, so you're fine. Like, thank God for it. It's cleansed. It's okay.
Including bacon.
You're right, but he's including bacon.
The Jews.
They don't like you. All right, so, and he goes on to say, but food will not bring us close to God. We are not worse off if we don't eat, and we are not better if we do eat. But be careful that this right of yours in no way becomes a stumbling block to the weak. So now he's saying, listen, it's okay, but not everyone has this knowledge.
Okay.
Don't be a stumbling block to those who are not yet mature enough to understand this. Okay?
So dress up like Spider-Man and go get the meat.
I'll let you just
so that no one knows who you are. And then you can have it.
There's no mention of Spider-Man in this context at all. All right.
Right?
I'm going to keep reading and people can decipher if they think Nate is correct or not.
Fine.
In verse 10, he says, "For if someone sees you," this is what we're getting to, "the one who has knowledge dining in an idol's temple, won't his weak conscience be encouraged to eat food offered to idols? So the weak person, the brother or sister for whom Christ died, is ruined by your knowledge. Now, when you sin like this against brothers and sisters and wound their weak conscience,
That's
you are
a sin?
sinning. You are sinning against Christ."
Man, we can't do anything as Christians at all.
If you love, then you won't be in sin, Nate. It's not hard. "Therefore, if food causes my brother or sister to fall, I will never again eat meat, so that I won't cause my brother or sister to fall."
What?
Okay? Yeah, this is
Any meat?
This is what Paul is saying.
Ugh.
He's saying, if it's going to cause my brother or sister to fall, I just won't eat it. Right? Okay? And so there's principles
I can't help if they're clumsy.
What?
Never mind.
All right. Oh. All right. So, all right. So my point in all of this is that, and Paul's saying, like, don't we have and he goes on even in chapter 9, it says, don't we have the right to eat and to drink? Like, don't we have these rights? And he's saying, we do. We have rights to do it, but if it's not the loving thing to do, then we don't do it. Okay?
So what you're going to say now is don't go trick-or-treating because somebody else might think that you're worshiping Satan.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Isn't that what you're about to say?
What I am going to say is that what Paul, I think, is really getting to here is if it has the appearance of darkness, okay, and can cause someone else to stumble, let's stay away from that. That's what Paul's saying. Okay. And so for me, when I think about Halloween, okay, I think there's a very specific kind of call to us to say, hey, if we need to make sure as Christians that we don't do anything that's going to cause anyone else to stumble. In other words, it would be better for us not to do anything that has the appearance of darkness or the appearance of sin.
Okay.
And to stay away from that. Now, Christians are going to say, probably come at that a couple of different ways. Okay.
Okay.
Some are going to
That's the next question.
Yeah. Okay. So some are going to say, all right. Excuse me. So some are going to say, all right, now I'm going to have nothing to do with Halloween so that I don't cause anyone to stumble through anything I might possibly do. Okay.
Okay.
So they're going to just reject Halloween just out of hand. Okay. Not going to participate in it. All right. It has some illusion of darkness, so I'm going to have no participation in it. All right.
Okay.
Others are going to say,
doesn't everything have some illusion of darkness?
Well, I don't know if everything does.
Everything.
If I go to church,
Christians come up with a reason to turn everything into some allusion to darkness.
Yeah. Well, hopefully if I go to church and we're worshiping the Lord, there's no illusion of darkness there.
Yes, there is, because you did it wrong, according to some other group of Christians. Therefore, you're a heretic. And
that does happen too. You're right. All right.
Lose.
So it's lose all around.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. But there's others that will say, okay, I'm not going to do anything that involves like the scary stuff. You know, like I'm not going to have my kid dressed up like a ghost or like a demon or that kind of thing. They're only going to dress up like a princess or a pirate or superhero, right?
Okay.
So nothing like they'll still get into anything kind of scary, all right?
Right.
And that way we don't have the appearance of darkness. We have the appearance of light. And so so some Christians will say that. Then there's like a third branch, I think, of Christians, and their perspective is we will only celebrate Halloween on like church grounds. Okay. That's where you get like the Harvest Festival, Fall Festival, those kind of things at churches.
Not the Halloween festival.
Not the Halloween festival. Absolutely.
We swear this has nothing to do with Halloween festival.
Right. But it's going to fall on the exact same weekend,
right.
or close to it.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is the idea of the Fall Festival, Harvest Festival, it's kind of actually going back more to the pagan roots.
Yep.
I mean, now no one really knows that. They just think of like a harvest, like we're just getting the harvest from our fields, but it's actually going back more to the pagan one than it is anything else.
The Catholic one.
Right. And so, which is kind of wild, but regardless, churches will have, their fall festival or their harvest festival, and they'll do like the trunk or treat. Have you seen those?
Yes, I think.
Like cars will be decorated, like the back of like their cars will be like decorated with whatever.
And it'll have your trunks full of candy.
Trunks full of candy. And you have to, they'll hand out candy or
But the kids have to do dumb stuff first.
Yeah, it's like usually some kind of like game.
That is pagan.
There's some kind of like game or something they have to do.
That's super more pagan than just trick-or-treating.
Right. But except for in the back of the car, it'll say like, be fishers of men, right? And then the thing they've got to do is they've got like a little kid's toy pole, and they're out there trying to fish up something, right? Like,
and then it says Snickers on the bottom.
Right, it's amazing.
And then you get a Snickers,
right?
And you go away,
right? And so there's all of those, kind of things,
right? Yeah,
and so
I've been to those.
Yeah, and I actually went to my very first one this year. I'd never seen a trunk or treat before.
Really?
Yeah, I went to one this year, and so I don't know how I feel about it.
I remember that. I remember we did it at our Christian school.
Okay. Yeah, this was at a Christian school.
There wasn't really. There was trunks, but there was mostly booths.
Yeah,
we had to go do.
Well, because of like we were in like the homeschool world. Kids, parents of all these kids, so like almost every trunk was like the back of a minivan.
Right.
So because every family's got either minivans or like full like 12 passenger size vans. So, but yeah, that was my first experience with trunk or treat, and like some of them were like. Just like kind of just like simple, like, one of them was like bee themed or something, like with honey or something. I can't remember. And then there was another one that was like the Fisher thing, which I actually thought was a pretty cool decoration. And then there was another one that was like
bees for Samson. Was that him?
Huh?
Who had bees and honey?
Bees and honey?
Yeah.
Jonathan, but there's Jonathan
who was stuck out in the wilderness and only had honey.
John. I was going to say John the Baptist had John the Baptist had the honey and the locust.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so he
that's all he was able to eat.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, just walking around with honey and locust, just getting his grub on. All right, so so like anyway, so that was my first trunk or treat. Like, and there was other games and kind of things you could go do and participate in, and. So that was, interesting. So like, there's like so that could kind of happen like at a fall festival or a harvest festival. And we're having a harvest festival or fall festival. I don't know what I've heard people call it both things. I call it a fall festival.
Pagan.
I know. I'm calling it fall festival to stay away from the harvest idea. But anyway, it's pretty much the same thing.
That'll fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. But we don't do the trunk or treat because some of the trunks people will show up and it will look like, it'll have like all the, spider webs everywhere and the skulls and the whatever.
Spider webs are evil.
There gotta be. I mean, you hate spiders, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I agree that they're evil, but that's just me.
Right. So, but
cobwebs aren't evil though. They just mean your trunk's old.
Right. Cleaned in a while. Yeah. Anyways, so I think so at ours, there's no trunk or treat, but the kids are like doing all these outside games. They'll do the pie the pastor, and so they'll hit me in the face repeatedly with pies, and
Wait, when's this?
It's just in a couple of weeks, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And yes,
what day is it?
It's on a Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, my kids.
I'm gonna bring my own pies.
Yeah, we won't let you use those. And but like other adult, apparently people just like to hit me in the face. I don't know what the deal is. My wife thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that was all about, but whatever. All right. And
we might have to come and get some footage of that,
right,
for the channel.
For the channel, yeah. And my kids think it's great. Like they're laughing the whole time.
I have to tell Luke to do that we can't make
as they crush my face with a pie as hard as they possibly freaking can. And so anyway,
it's just those flat things with whipped cream on it, right?
That's all that it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but getting hit in the face repeatedly with those, it's like by the time I'm done, I'm like, I feel like I've got that stuff all up my nose, my eyes are burning, I have to replace my contacts. I mean, like, it's just like in my ears. It's
cool.
Like, it's a disaster.
Sweet.
And, sure. And then, like, we have a hayride, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, kids have a good time, and that's really what it's for.
But it's evil, though.
But some people would say that was evil.
Okay.
And so what I'm saying is Christians...
So why do you do it if you're supposed to not eat the meat that's for idols?
All right, hold on. Time out. All right, so my point being is Christians have like these different ways of approaching Halloween according to their own conscience, because the way they're handling it, all right? And so, because for some, it's like, all right, we don't want to make the full leap away from like our kids having a good time, but we want to remove it from anything that's viewed as evil. So let's go do these kind of things instead, right? Like the fall festival. And then again, others just it's interesting. Like, this is the interesting part for me, and I'm just being transparent here. So like for me, in our family, we don't do anything in terms of celebrating Halloween personally. Okay. So like our kids don't go trick or treating, those kind of things. Okay. But did we mind our kids dressing up in costumes to go to this fall festival trick or treat thingamadoodger, with in this private school, Christian school? No, we didn't mind that. Like our kids were dressed up as they were this Luke and Leia Skywalker. So or two of the three were. Right. They try to get my oldest to dress up like Chewbacca, but he'd have no part of it. So but anyways, so we did that, like, but personally we don't do anything on that night. Okay. But then there is the fall festival happening like a week afterwards, or 2 weeks, I guess, 2 weeks afterwards. And so like we're doing that, and and if kids want to come dressed up, they can come dressed up if they want to. Like, we don't make a big deal of it, but it's that whole idea of like, we want it to be light. We don't want there to be any darkness. We don't want there to be anything scary. No jack-o'-lanterns, all that kind of stuff.
Well, how do you tell people what's okay and what's not okay?
How do I tell them as a pastor?
Yeah.
I believe the best thing that I can do is try to present information to our church family and then let them make their own personal decisions. Okay. So like, to be able to say, you know what? Here's the pagan roots of it that seem to be there. Here are the Catholic roots of it that seem to be there. Mm-hmm. Here's the commercialized, reality of what most Halloween looks like today. And then there's also, by the way, there's also
the film Halloween.
Right. There's a film
starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right. And then there's the satanic side of it, right? The demonic side of it, the celebration part of it for Satanists or for witches and that kind of thing. So like, I think there's like, present the information and allow people to make their decisions. Okay. So for us, and again, and even like at our fall festival and that kind of thing, like nothing, close to kind of quote unquote, like looking dark or scary, would be allowed. Okay. And so we try to keep everything in the light, keep it fun, that kind of thing. But am I going to like condemn church members that take their kids trick or treating, because their little kids want to dress up like one of the dogs on Paw Patrol or something? Like, go for it. Like, I'm not going to condemn church members for making that decision. And
what if they all dress up so much that nobody who knows them even knows who they are?
Well, and that could happen too.
So no appearance of meat.
Yeah. And so, but I also will say this, but as adults, we also cannot dress up, and I'm talking about the kids, but we can't dress up in a way that would not be honoring the Lord either. Okay. So like we shouldn't be dressing up, looking like, like all bloodied or, scary or whatever, or like we talked about earlier, like, dressing up like the sexy nurse or whatever. Like, we have to know what's honoring to the Lord.
Okay.
And so we have to be mindful of where we go and where we're putting, where we're putting ourselves. And I think that's probably the biggest part for me. It's like, I'm cool with my kids going to like a fall festival at a Christian church or at our, at our church or Christian church or at our Christian school Christian school or at our church. Like, I'm cool with our kids doing that, but I would not like send our kids, trick-or-treating where I know they're going to like be going through like a haunted house or, scary this or whatever. Like, we were trying to keep it clear for our kids.
I want to do one of those haunted houses though. One of those ones where you win money if you get through like 6 hours of it.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like really intricate and you have to sign waivers before you go in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Like people having like heart attacks and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do it.
I want to do it.
You should do it. Yeah, you're the guy that should do it.
I know.
And win the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you tithe.
Although I'm scared that they're like allowed to touch you and stuff.
And
that's part of it. So if
I
that was
gotcha.
any part of it, then I wouldn't.
You'd be like, no.
But I feel like you can't go through 6 hours without them doing that. That's why I haven't done it.
Gotcha.
But I don't want people like coming on to me and stuff like that in there and, being creepy like that.
Yeah, that would be weird.
But I'll look at anything.
Right. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will. That's where we are. Now, I do also understand for Catholics, I need to put this in there. For Catholics, Halloween can be a holy day and a holy time for them. That's what the whole, Hallows Eve is, right? So it can be a holy time. And so this is just what I'm going to read this from another Catholic priest. He says, Catholic practices on Halloween historically included attending Mass, praying for the dead, preparing for All Saints and All Souls days. Some customs like souling, which is offering prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes, what we talked about earlier.
Soul cakes.
Yeah. Reflect this focus on intercession for souls in purgatory. And over time, secular traditions, costumes, trick-or-treating, jack-o'-lanterns evolved from a mix of Christian and folk practices, though they are not inherently religious. And he goes on to say, today the Catholic Church does not officially recognize Halloween as a liturgical holiday, but many Catholics view it as an opportunity to reflect on mortality, sainthood, and the spiritual battle against evil. And so the Catechism emphasizes praying for the dead, which aligns with Halloween's historical themes.
Okay.
In summary, Halloween is not a Catholic holiday in the sense of a feast, but it has deep ties to Catholic theology and tradition through its connection to All Saints and All Souls days, serving as a cultural and historical bridge to these observances. So again, for some Catholics, this is going to be an important evening, and this is kind of how they're going to handle it while they're going to do certain things that are preparing them or that are tied and connected to All Saints Day and All Souls Day.
How come it's some Catholics? I thought all Catholics had to do all the Catholic stuff.
Well, it's because you have different priests that are going to have different views. Like they're all going to say that All Saints, that All Hallows Eve or Halloween, they're all going to say that should be a spiritual time, like a religious time, okay? For Catholics, like that's how they're going to view that, okay? But they're also, some are going to acknowledge like the pagan roots of it, and they're going to say, hey, basically Catholics just Christianized that,
okay?
Where others are going to say, no, it was just Catholic to begin with. Like we started this idea of All Saints Day, All Souls Day, and Halloween.
Again, because they started everything.
Well, not they started everything.
In the beginning, there was Catholics. And God was with Catholics.
Okay.
And there was evening and there was Catholics.
All right. Okay, now you're just getting Catholics really pissed. That's what you're doing at this juncture. Okay. So, no. All right. But let me read this. Because this is from the Archdiocese, of Singapore. So it's the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Singapore.
Okay.
And they say celebrating Halloween the Catholic way. Okay.
Okay.
Number 1, participate in parish events like All Saints Day parties or vigils.
Parish?
Yes.
So death.
No. A parish is not the same. Okay?
I know.
All right. Number 2, dress up as saints. A beautiful way to honor our heroes of the faith. So,
how do we know what they look like?
I mean,
From the stained glass windows?
Yeah, you're kind of just taking some guesses on some things, but yeah, you can use those kind of pictures. And,
lots of browns and light browns.
Yeah, and I don't know.
And sandals.
Just sandals would be good.
Okay.
Number 3, use symbols of death like skulls as reminders of mortality and the hope of resurrection. Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, and so that might be somewhere like where some Protestants would disagree with that. They're like, no, that's kind of getting into this kind of like, demonic kind or dark kind of stuff. But the whole point being is death shouldn't be seen as evil in and of itself, right? Oh. And so, because number 4, pray for the deceased and visit cemeteries to honor loved ones.
Okay, so this praying for the deceased thing, we don't need, Protestants don't believe in that, right? Because they don't need prayer anymore?
Yeah, no, we do not believe in praying for those that have deceased.
Okay. Yeah. Is it a sin to do that?
I don't know if I would not say it's a sin.
I feel like we've all accidentally done that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a sin. Like, okay, because like, again, this is just me giving like a real example, right? Okay. So like, we don't pray for the saints. And as Protestants, I'll say most, not all, most Protestants don't pray for the saints, or don't pray to saints, excuse me. They don't pray, for their loved ones, and they don't view the fact that they can like talk to their loved ones who have dead like that, right. like that they actually hear them. Okay. But like on a personal level for me, so for example, 2 weeks ago, I was home, and my hometown, and we had traveled down there for the week, so I was down there in my hometown, and so I went to the cemetery where my dad is buried. Okay, right. And so while there, I actually and I had this wrestling in myself, even theologically, of how I feel about this, just being again honest, but sitting there and just kind of like, hey, Dad, I just kind of want to tell you about what's been going on the last few months,
Cool.
Like, and I actually was like, because I had not been to the cemetery since I had graduated from theology school in May. Okay. And so I actually hey, Dad, I graduated school. I was like, hey, Dad, this is what the kids are doing. This is like the activities they're involved in. I really miss you being here. Because my dad and that was a big thing of connection point, obviously, texting Dad, pictures of the grandkids, of things they're up to and doing. And so like I had this timeline, I'm like crying, and I'm just telling my dad this kind of stuff. At the same time, knowing like he can't hear me. Like, that's my theological understanding, is he cannot hear me. Okay. But there would be others who would have a theological understanding of, oh, absolutely, he can not only hear you, but like be present around you. Okay. Yeah. And not like in some kind of spooky, like, ghost form, or not in some kind of like angel form or anything like that. Just that the spiritual realm is not really like that far removed from us. And so the idea of like this great cloud of witnesses and this idea of the communion of the saints is that we are all together. The saints who are living on earth, and the saints who have died before. Okay. And so there's a much more tighter connection. And so, like, for example, the Anglicans really believe, like, they're Protestants, they really would have a much stronger leaning toward the idea of communion of saints in this way. Okay. That's like their belief. And so it's not all Protestants that reject that, but I'm sitting there at the cemetery kind of like wrestling a little bit with myself, over it. But like at the same time, just missing my dad and just kind of telling him the things that I would want to tell him if he were here. Do I believe that was sin? No, like not at all.
Okay.
Do I believe he can hear me? I actually don't. But for some people they do, and it brings them comfort. Okay. But anyway, so I think when we kind of get into these things about praying for the dad and talking to the dad, and I think we do things like I would say I was doing a lot of that, like probably out of my own grief of just missing my dad, right? But I don't think it's inherently wrong, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I just,
only if you had a Ouija board with you,
dude. Okay, now if we got Ouija boards involved, now we for real off the reservation into like demonic world.
Okay.
Yeah, like you're in a cult
because you could talk to demons.
Yes, because you absolutely could talk to demons in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't be playing with Ouija boards.
Don't really know why that's bad, but okay.
You don't want to talk to a demon.
I don't know. Figure out what they're up to. Help you later,
They're going to help you later?
No. It'll help you later to know what they're doing.
Oh, I just need them gone. I don't need to know what they're doing.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, sit around and play a hand of cards with them,
It's like yeah. It's like knowing the strategy of the enemy.
Of the enemy. Yeah. I think we know enough of the schemes of the enemy.
Okay.
To not have to start having conversations with demons.
All right. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.